Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Observable Flutter. My name is Craig LeBenz, and I'm your host. And today, the adventure continues. The last 3 live streams, I have been working on the Cloud Next demo that's going to be in Las Vegas in a couple of weeks. And today will be, I think, part 4 of that adventure. So I am excited. But before my excitement gets the better of me, do recall, folks, that this is the Flutter community. We all know what that means. All right. So I'm going straight to YouTube today, again, for better video quality. So hopefully the text is all readable. The sound is not garbled. It should be as clear as possible. But it does mean that StreamYard's nice chat tooltips are unavailable. I have your chat right in front of me, so I will, of course, be reading it and responding to it. Okay. Well, let's begin by reviewing what the heck it is that I've been working on, and then we can begin working on it again. Or maybe resume working on it is the verb that I want to choose here. Don't mind me while I slide my green. Oh, don't mind me while I break my streaming environment. Oh, my back didn't like that. Oh, I didn't like that at all. Oh, need to stretch. Ah. You know, there's this line in The Simpsons. It's one of my favorite moments. So they're having this award show in Springfield. Oh my gosh, my back. Oh. Oh. So they're having this award show in Springfield. And one of the awards is for Springfield's oldest man. And somebody nobody's ever heard of wins the award. And he goes on stage, and Britney Spears, this is a very old episode. Britney Spears is one of the hosts, and she gives this man a kiss on the cheek, and he has a heart attack and dies. And then they consult the records, and they see that the next oldest person in Springfield is one C. Montgomery Burns. So he comes up on stage, and after shooing away Britney Spears to not give him a kiss of death, improvises an acceptance speech, and he says, quite simply, "Well, now that I'm Springfield's oldest man, I'm starting to realize I'm not a young man anymore." And I feel like that all the time because none of my joints work, and my back's always really upset with me about something. But here we are. Okay. If Flutter's dead, somebody says, Flutter ain't dead, but I might be. I mean, if I'm its avatar, which of course I'm not, but if I was, then my back is a very bad omen for Flutter. All right. Enough shenanigans. Let's do it. Randall says, wait till you get to be 64. Well, it's coming in hot. I turned 40 in 2 days. So 64 is coming in hot, it feels. All right, let's do it. So, look at this. It's the lovely demo. It's my empty anti-gravity window. So I'm going to do what I've been doing and remind everyone how this works by walking through it. After I remember the URL, which port I put it on, and connect a browser. Are you going to work? Are you my mommy? What's happening? All right, I'm going to rerun the thing. Yeah. Oh, I wonder if I have a way to run this in WASM mode. Kiosk, no. Okay, so let's make a version of this that does WASM. Is it WASM or WASM? There we go. Love that. Love that for myself. So now I can do this. Okay. And the port is, 8080. So once this runs, then we'll do it. Yeah, happy early birthday. Thank you, Randall. Most appreciated. I love anti-gravity sometimes is just so funny. It'll be like, well, my job is to suggest stuff, so want to change the port? I love in a pub spec file when it's like, want some new versions? I can give you new versions. How about these numbers? It's like, well, thanks, I guess. Oh, it's very funny. Okay, let me reset here. Here we go. Here we go. So this is the end user demo or experience going through the demo. It's going to be a cloud next, and then it's going to be slightly re-skinned to also be at I/O. So if you're at either of those events, you will, in theory, see this. And the idea is you use this Flutter app to talk to Nano Banana and get an image generated of your happy place, whatever that is for you. And then we send that image to a printer, and it uses edible ink, and it prints your happy place onto a coffee that a barista has just made for you. And then you walk away and you go, huh, well, that's neat, I guess. And everybody's excited. So this is the first part. You've just walked up to the kiosk and you begin. So you move through, get a name for your order. That'll obviously be Bingo Bango, which is a name that I've really enjoyed typing recently. I think it sounds fun. The name is quickly moderated. I got to make these buttons bigger yet. It's one of my to-do lists items. But I'll want whole milk and no sugar, of course. I'm a serious person. Okay, now I describe my happy place. So what should my happy place be? I think I'll say speaking on stage at a Flutter conference. That's pretty good. I haven't tried that before. We'll see what it does. So here we are. There's supposed to be a little asset covering these. Mr. Asset, where are you? Well, I don't have any error messages for its absence. I wonder if there's a problem with it in WASM mode. I haven't tried it in WASM mode before. Okay, well, whatever. I will now go back to the normal view. So, Nano Banana's cooking here. Randall says, you'll see it at next. Can't make it to I.O. What are we cooking today? That's a long name. Okay, I'm just going to butcher it. I'm making working on the demo that's going to be at Cloud next and Google I.O. So I've just given it my name and my happy place, which is speaking on stage at a Flutter conference. And the back end here is instructed to vary the images. So we got one that's fairly Dash-like, and then just some kind of other thing. So I'll, of course, go with this bird here. This looks pretty good to me. Now I've got two different options. I can just accept this image as is, which would be less fun for our purposes, or I can tweak the image. So I will do that. And then we got a little GenUI here, and we're presented with 4 questions to modify the previous image. So let's see here. How much detail should the scene have? Honestly, low detail because the latte printers aren't that good. Okay, what species should the speaker be? And now it's forbidden to use people, so I'm going to actually kind of red team it here and say a human being, which it shouldn't do. It's not going to like moderate and reject this answer, but it shouldn't put a person in the image. So, yeah, we're red teaming it a bit here. I would actually put hummingbird if I was not doing that. Okay, so what specific lighting do I want? I guess natural. And then should the camera zoom in or out? Well, let's zoom out. Let's show the whole scene all the way. Okay, let's try it. I really don't know what we're going to get because in other prompting, we say, do not put people in it, do not put people, do not put people, do not put people. And I was like, can I have a person? So we'll see. Okay, I thought this would advance faster. Let's look at the events that we're getting here. Oh, a nice error. That's exciting. Oh, failed to generate revised images. So that explains the problem, I suppose. Well, this is limiting for the demo walkthrough, but we can immediately get into some debugging. I don't have this stuff wired up in the best place, so right now it's literally sitting in a file called dependency injection. So this is supposed to be the generate revised images staging function, and as you can see, my environment is still hard-coded. That remains a to-do. But in the interim, I'm going to load up the Firebase console, and we will... Oh, someone says they can barely hear me. Am I quiet? I can turn the gain up a little bit. It does kind of look like it's a little lower than it's been in the past. Xylor, you may also just have your volume low, so don't sleep on investigating that. Seems a bit too quiet. Okay, well, confirmed. So Xylor, you are absolved from blame, and I've turned up my gain. Folks, let me know if I need to turn it up anymore. Farhan says, I just got here. Can you summarize what you're building since I missed everything? Well, that's one of the great features of a live stream on YouTube. You can just scrub back, watch it like 1x speed. You'll catch up pretty quickly, and then you'll know everything that there is to know. Okay, so I'm going to look at the functions here, and then once I pull this in, I'm going to show. Okay, here we go. So here's our functions. Now, this function was called what? Generate revised images staging, which, yeah, is a function. So I don't know why it didn't work. What are you talking about, Mr. Error? Okay, I clicked on the thing. Why did you go away? Odd. Now, the thing is, I don't actually even want to work on this feature today. I want to go back and work on the floaty images. But I do require some images in that collection, and this is a nice way to populate it. So what's going on? Unable to establish connection. I kind of want to just try again. Let's try that. Refresh. If it doesn't work, then I will table that for later and just accept the image as is, and we'll move on. Try again. Tweak. Give it some answers that I said. Human being. Natural, I think I went with. Zoom out. All right, let's go. What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? I should have cleared this. If I was a serious person, I would have cleared it. Oh, I think it cleared when I refreshed the page, so I just got the same error again. Well, that's not fun for me at all. Okay. Never mind. Except, are you going to work? Is anything working? Are cloud functions just down? Oh boy. I mean, they can't be down globally. They must just, something must be broken with my project. But why? Now I'm going to go look at the build history for this project and see if the last deploy failed. It didn't. It's nothing but green check marks. All right, folks. Well, this is not the most exciting thing in the world, but I'm not going to worry about this right now. Okay, why are no functions working? Look at the logs real quick. I'm just real curious. Logs Explorer. Yeah, you. Yeah. Huh. If there's no incriminating, like, smoking gun in the logs, then someone's knocking at the door. I'll be right back. Oh, I do get to finally use the be right back thing, though. That's exciting. All right, power companies here looking at some power lines. So good luck to them. Oh yeah, okay, nothing works. So I'm looking at the logs and oh yeah, I gotta get the time to be like now. How do I do that again? I don't love Google Cloud's logging interface. It's like, can you just put a button right in front of me that says, do what you want? It's like, there's a thing that you obviously want. And then here's the button to do that. That's what I want. Okay, I found it. It's really hidden though. I'm not putting this on the screen just because there's like an internal Google Cloud console that is probably exactly the same, but they always tell us not to share it because it's like the next version or something. No, it's just, there's nothing in here about, there's no problems. Okay, I don't know. Well, I'll need to figure out what went wrong and how to correct for it before Cloud Next, but I have no idea. There's like nothing. Okay, well, in that case, what we're going to do instead is pivot to what I actually want to work on. And I may have to create some manual records, but it isn't the worst fate in the world. Man, I wanted to be able to populate this by putting things in there for real, but win some, lose some. Okay, I'm going to add a couple records here. It's going to take a second. If I was a teacher, I would say talk amongst yourselves, but I will try to multitask and talk while I do this. So I need to go into batches, and I'm going to grab random images here, like a U. Come with me. I'm going to go back to this window. Might be easier if I do this. Will this be easier? Maybe. And now I add a document, created at, description, image URL. Oh, it's going to be really slow. I'm already unhappy. Created at, date time. That's a nowy now. Oh my goodness. Can you believe that this is how the world works? It's like, what do I press for this? Okay, now we add a field, description. Lord only knows. Now we add a field. I think it's prompt. Give me that picture. And I add a field. And this is the image URL. We paste it in. I'm not doing this a ton of times. I didn't like that at all. That was really terrible. Someone says audible, ... Am I audible? I'm not sure. Hopefully it is audible. And by it, I mean me. Okay, I'll grab I'm going to do a couple more of these. Copy, edit field. I did make quite a bit of progress on the little bubbly images last week after the stream ended because I just wanted to keep working on it. And it was really fun. And I'm excited to show you all my progress because I'm a good little boy. This is really wild. There's no like copy document. You know, wouldn't that be nice? Unless there is, and I'm just unaware of it. Description. A photograph. Prompt. Make me a photograph. Image URL. Whatever's in my clipboard. Save. Okay, 4 is already enough. I can't do any more. I can't bear it. So now I'll say make app recent, I think is my command for this. There we go. So, how's everyone doing today? You know, like good? Are we doing good? Are we doing bad? Poorly? Crazy times out there, man. It's tough. Tough on these streets. All right, so this is going to be this will be some code that we're in very shortly. after we see this work. All right, it's attached. So now I'll just switch this over to the old 8082. Watch it load. And look at those images. Watch them float around and watch them bump into each other. Now, the performance is much better on WASM, but on that mode, it is hot reload is very slow. So I'm going to optimize for hot reload since I want to be iterating. And yeah, there we go. So we've got these floaty. You can see I happen to have copied a lot of the spiderweb images that I created. I thought typing a happy place as a giant spiderweb was pretty funny, because how could that be anybody's happy place? So now we've got a bunch of images of spiders. This is what we're building. And yeah, it's really not the best performance in raw JavaScript. It's very smooth with WASM though. So, okay. Now what I want to work on today is the logic for how they cycle around. So I want to be able to add a new document to the collection. And then I want the oldest one on the screen to kind of fade out and the replacement to come in its place. So that is the hope. And I don't really know yet how I'm going to, well, it's really funny how it does some serious struggling on when it drops frames. Oh, they also slow down when they drop frames, which makes me think there needs to be like a delta time thing like game engines have. Yeah, interesting. All right, so there's a couple spaces for optimization here. Can you walk us through the logic, just like an overview? Yeah, absolutely. That's an excellent idea. So I'm not good at trigonometry because the high school that I went to had what they called integrated math, where every year you did like a little bit of geometry and a little bit of trig and a little bit of algebra and a little bit of pre-calc. And then you get all the way to the end of your high school career, or primary school, I think in other countries, and you don't know any math because you forgot it all, because you never marinated in a single topic for an entire year. So my trigonometry, I got a math minor in college, in university, and you wouldn't know it by watching me try to do math. So Jem and I did a lot of the trigonometry for this that we're about to look at. Okay, so this is the block first, and the first thing that we do here is watch the recent images collection in Firebase. And so then we have a stream here, and every time the stream fires, we call an update recent images event. And then that merely emits the state. Maybe it'll have to be fancier at some point. We might get to some of that today in terms of replacing the oldest image. I don't know. So that's the block. It's extremely simple. Below here, we just have the state class with those recent images and the event. So very, very simple, which moves us to the recent images home view. Nope, apparently that's not it. Recent home view. Recent orders, I called it here. Very smart of me. All right, now we start to get into some crazy town stuff. So get our layout information. Layout provider is just a glorified layout builder. And use a block builder. Everything's exciting. I'm using ShadCN. So this scaffold is from ShadCN and not from Material. Then we got a stack. Oh yes. So below, now how does it work here? Okay, so yeah, the latte images inner widget. This is all the floating bubbles, and then on top of those are the decorations. So as they're floating around, they go underneath instead of covering up the headers here. So that's that, which of course moves us to the latte images inner widget. And here stuff starts to get a little crazy. So Yeah, all right. We've got this periodic thing, and update latte positions is not. I think when frames are dropped, it's still just calculating like 16 milliseconds, I think. But I think I'm going to have to add something to keep track of the last time. So when a frame is dropped, everything doesn't slow down. I'm going to have to sort out the logic. Okay, actually, the function that it calls is literally just right here. And it does not pass in anything. So let's see, how much does this assume happened? Like, how much time does this assume has transpired? We can see, obviously, that there's no concept of a like timestamp of last frame calculation. So that's missing. But where does it even? Anyway, this is all the trig that like I did not write. But anyway, first this is just collision detection. So loop over the things, loop over the other ones. It makes sure to not kind of check backwards, but otherwise there's only going to be 13 of these. So I think the naive exponential collision detection is fine. We don't need to get into like regions and whatnot. Yeah, so figure out where the circles are. Calculate their size, blah, blah, blah. If the distance between them is like, yeah, less than their radius is, then they're overlapping. So then we, and by we, I mean, again, Gemini and Dart, like they do this. I'm not involved really. Those two calculate some tricky trig. They get some dot products. They figure out if they're actually moving at each other or not. And then the position of the thing is updated. Now here we go. So the speed is happening. Oh yeah, result.speed. Oh, collision.resolve. Oh, okay. This is where I think we just apply the speed, and the speed is applied uniformly, and there's no concept of how long it's been since we did this last. Oh, but then result's going to have to update otherwise as well, because otherwise they just move. Where does that happen? I think I'm going to ultimately just ask Gemini to fix this, because Gemini wrote all this in the first place, and it's been doing a pretty good job. So I'm going to, that is what I'm going to do with that. But I'll worry about it after the tour. So anyway, if they are colliding, then this happens. If they're not colliding, then the result is updated somewhere else, and that is where their movement was accounted for. I am super duper not seeing it though. Corrected a create translated copies. I guess maybe this is it. Oh, move. Yeah. Okay, so this is where circles move, I think. Maybe. It actually kind of looks like it's just calculating where they'll be after this movement to see if they're colliding. It doesn't actually look to be applying the correction. Oh, wait. Oh, here we are. Always okay. Yeah. Great. So this is how they move. And then this is how their direction changes if they collided. Great. We'll get the frame dropping correction in later. And again, there won't be frames that are drop in theory when it's using WASM. Okay, so then what is this doing? Update positions. Oh, so this is where I'm figuring out how much they should be squishing, I think. So latte positions. Yeah, there really would have been nice to have a comment here. So calculate how much space latte takes up horizontally and vertically. Oh yeah, again, translate it's, because all this is like highly responsive. So the positions of all of these things are stored as, you can see their sizes are absolute, but their positions are, oh, I think actually something changed, because they're kind of not moving into the corner like I thought they were. Anyway, their positions are stored as percentages of the XY axes. So then, oh yeah, well, no, when the aspect ratio changes, then the position of the XY axes will be kind of nonlinear. So I think that's why we were seeing them move a little strangely as I was moving the corner around. Okay, bounce off walls, that's fine, blah, 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 blah. So this is the whole collision detection, move all of the things piece, and it's just sitting right here in a function on a stateful widget, update latte positions. And it runs every time the timer ticks. And then I bet we call set state in here, like at the bottom. I think I just saw that. Yeah, set state. Great. So then in the build method, we loop over those updated latte positions. And if we've got more positions available than we have images, then, just kind of don't do anything, wait for the image to load. Otherwise, actually position the image. And then we use this squishable latte image here, which is what would apply the shader to kind of have it go blah, 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 blah. And that's fun. And then this is some initial latte position action. And we can see here the center of them is, this is where they're stored as a percentage of the XY axis instead of absolute position. The radius, though, is an absolute value because we can see a percentage here is applied in advance to the constraining dimension. So this is giving us an absolute value. I may want to change this to be proportional to the screen size so they shrink and grow as the screen shrinks and grows. I think I will want to do that. All right, this is how that screen works. It's exciting, I tell myself in my darkest hours. So what I will do now is explore how I can swap out the oldest image for a new image when the new one appears. And I haven't thought about this much before, so I'm just going to be brainstorming out loud to start. Okay, so latte positions is where everything is to start, and then it's obviously updated as we move. So one thing that's going to be important is this latte positions list needs to kind of I don't want to pop anything off of this list and put something on the back, for example, because that would likely change, I guess, like, you could like persist the position and direction and whatnot, but that would threaten to kind of not have the new image appear where the old one was. So I think I don't really want to do much surgery on latte images. Now, separately, we could see the actual in the build method here. The actual images are coming from widget.images. So this is where an actual image is merged with the position that we've been calculating. So it seems pretty clear that I'm going to need to have a did update widget function, which detects when widget.images has a new leading image, and then kind of sort out the difference between the new list and the old list. And then it'll have to consign one of these squishable latte images to start fading out and then fade in its new image. So I think squishable latte image is going to also have to have a did update widget so that it can note when it gets a new widget. Yeah, and I'll a new image, sorry. And I imagine I'm going to need to give this a key that'll maybe be like the image URL. And that can, no, the image URL wouldn't work at all. That would actually force a cache bust. I think I'm going to have to give this a key, which is its index. Because if you're, let's say, to start, where there's going to be 13, but right now there's like 4 or something. Yeah. So let's say you're index 4. So you're the oldest image. When the new image is assigned, the way the squishable latte image will know, like, hey, I'm actually the same spot here, even though the image changed, is if it gets a key, which stays the same. And the only thing that will stay the same is the index in the position. So I think I'm going to have to do that. So let me pull up this and remind myself that so it is already stateful. And all of this is to calculate the wobble. So I think I might even wrap this image. I don't know if I want to conflate these two roles, or sorry, wrap this widget. I don't know if I want to put the switch alongside the managing of the wobbling. I'll have to think about that as well. So first, let's worry about the order swapping and then the animation. Like, let's get the newest image to replace the oldest image, and then after that, it should be pretty. Then we can kind of sunset that task and totally focus on how it makes sense to have the squishable latte image actually animate the change in some fun way. So here we go. So I think a cursor kind of might be effective here. If I were to have an integer field on this state class, which pointed to the oldest index, then when a new image arrived, we would know exactly where to make a change, and we could kind of just shift that index, and then the next time a new image arrives, it'll know where to slot that in as well. I think that's going to work. It'll be interesting here. Okay. Let's start. So first of all, we need these images to be sorted by their timestamp. And I don't know if they are, so I'm going to put that in the block. So when the images come down on the stream, we get the event, and this is where I think we need to sort them. So I'll do a sort, and we get the old AB, and I'll say A dot created at compared to B dot created at. Perfect. That is exactly what I want. Why are you not working? Undefined named B. What are you talking about? It's literally right there. Oh, I'm missing a parentheses because I can't type. Okay, cool. So now we are sorting these. I believe this is descending. If not, I'll have to swap B and A at some point. But I think this is descending. Okay, great. Now I don't have to worry about that in the widget. So in the recent, yeah. Okay, so in this widget, yeah, in the inner widget, that's where it is. Okay, so here in init state, now I don't know, it's not guaranteed at the beginning, at the launching of this widget, that there's going to be enough items in the collection at all. So it's not guaranteed that, we've got n latte positions, but at the start there will be like 0 or 1 or 2 or 3 or just maybe less than n images. So I think I'm going to have a dedicated function here that says calculate initial oldest image. Let's see, I'm reading chat here real quick. Randall says, the index values might change on stream updates from Firebase, though. Okay, so this is going back a minute. You should use image URL or something unique. That's ascending. You can remember, AB is ascending. Okay, so I don't want ascending. I want descending. So that means I need to do B and A. All right. That is actually a nice mnemonic. So alphabetical application of the parameters gives you ascending, and counterclockwise, so to speak, gives you descending. Okay, so calculate initial oldest image is going to be a void, and it's going to figure out, we'll have late int oldest image index. Perfect. So we can have a quick guard statement here. If widget.images just is empty, then this is 0, and we'll return. Otherwise, now they are sorted. So actually, yeah, it's just this every time, because nope, it's not this. If no, this is correct, because if it was empty, then length would be 0 and -1 would be -1, and -1 is an invalid thing. So yes, this is what we want. All right, now we need a did update widget definition. which I'll put here, I guess. Is it listening to me? This is just... this is where I'm like, okay, I actually am pretty impressed with anti-gravity. Now, it's not that the length is different, because the length is going to be, once the list is full, the length is going to be the same. So the body of this is actually just wrong. But I won't hold that against anti-gravity. It doesn't know, really. So the first thing that we need to do is, what's the cheapest way to just compare these lists and see if they're different? It's like, if any of the indices are different, then, but like the whole thing will shift. So really, I actually just have to check the first one or the length. Yeah, okay, let's think about this. So while the list is not yet full, like it's early in the morning, there's only 2 people have gone through the demo, so there's only 2 images floating around. Now the third person goes through, so we get the length changes from 2 to 3. So that would indicate that we have a new value, of course. Otherwise, once the list is full, then what will happen is the newest item is in the front of the list and everything else shifts 1. So we only have to check whether the first index is different or the length is different. So if widget.images dot length just does not equal old widget.images.length, or, so let's say here, I'll just save this as like final did list grow. And then we'll have another one, which is did list shift, and that is going to be dot first, which is going to be a nullable value dot image URL does not equal. Okay, I think this is good, but first is not nullable, and I think it just explodes if the list is in fact empty. So that's not valid code. First or null. Nice, that's what we want. Thank you, Gemini. Thank you, anti-gravity. Okay, so if the list grew or the list shifted, then it's not initial anymore. It's calculate new, oldest image. How do I want to name this? It's like, I don't want to call it calculate new oldest image because that's really confusing. I think we'll just call it this. Void. Right. So the list has changed, which requires us to sort out where the newest, I'm going to hit tab and see what it gives us. Where the newest image is in the list. This is needed to know where to start animating when the list grows. Okay, I haven't really thought about this sentence. I'm going to delete it, but let's see, what did it give us here? So again, oh, it literally just copied the same body as the old one, so that's not terribly helpful. Okay, I'm also wondering if it'll just be a little more convenient to keep track of 2 pointers, one being the oldest index and one being the newest index. There'll of course always be, they can be calculated easily enough, so it's like tracking both not necessarily needed, but I think it might simplify some code later. So I think I do want to also have the newest image index, so like the front of the list. Newest image index. Okay, I also wonder if a linked list would be good for this. I've been a developer for like, wait, what year is it? 17 years, 18 years? I have used a linked list in a non-academic setting definitely single digit times. Definitely could count on one hand, like maybe 0 or 1. Those are possibly the numbers. I think this situation would potentially benefit from a linked list. I'm not sure though. For now, I'm going to stick with a list. And Yeah, I think I'm gonna still not use the linked list. Okay, so this function is now not necessarily, it's going to just be calculate initial image indices, which is now what you're called. And your job is to figure out the newest index as well. So if the newest index, yeah, this is just always 0 at the beginning. Yep. That looks right. Now in the calculate change, okay, here we go. So I have to think through this. I also may have a poor, deep list compare. There's methods in package collection. Yeah, I think I can get away being cheekier here, but we'll see. So as once the list is full, that's when things get interesting. When the list is growing, the indices are very easy to figure out. But when the length doesn't change, we have to think through this. So let's say the list has just filled up. So let's imagine there's 10 things on the screen. So the oldest index, wait, these are descending, I went with. Descending. That means the oldest is index 1. Oh, I have this like backwards. Does it make, will it make more sense? Will it be easier for me to reason about this later if it's ascending or descending? If I kind of think of it as a queue where it's first in, first out, see, that's where I was wondering, does a linked list make sense here? If it's first in, first out, then index 0 would be where the oldest image is. And then index 10 is going to be the one that just arrived. Yeah, that is how this is going to make sense. So I already have to update, this method's already wrong. So the oldest is widget.images.length, right? If it's empty, that's 0. If there's one item in it, it's 0. If there's, two, yes. Oh, -1 though, -1. So then we still have to do the same thing. So that's all good. Now the newest index is, this is the one that becomes 0. Nice. Okay, so now imagine the list is full. So the oldest one is at index 0, and the newest one is at index 10. And then we get a new list. And still in the new list, of course, 0 is always the oldest, and 10 is always the newest. But the point here is to assign these to the correct latte position in the build method down here. What I think I'm ultimately going to be doing is, like, as I loop through this index in position, we're going to be like applying some offset on the index based on the value of the newest or oldest index or something like that. So that's why we need these variables, is to shift the shift the images that came from Firebase so that they stay in place with their latte positions. Yeah, because the images are moving. Each image is moving down the list of data that we get from Firebase, but it shouldn't move down the list of latte positions. A single image should stay in place. The other thing we could do is potentially copy, no, Could also have like a map that maps each image to the index that it gets, but I don't think that's going to be much simpler. Okay, so now I think we can, I think I'm ready to actually write code in the calculate oldest image function. So in this function, wait a minute. It is in fact always this. Would it ever be different from this? So the list has been full, and the 11th image arrives. So the demo goes through its 11th coffee. So now there's 11 total things, which means a new 10 came down. So what was index, what was in the back of the list, is the oldest one. And it falls off. It is no longer in the data set anymore. So what these indices are doing, what it needs to point out, is the image that used to be index 0 now moved to index 1. And so that means index 0 in the list needs to be index 1 in the positions. So that just basically means there's a shift of +1. And then when the next one comes in, the thing that was again originally 0 is now going to be index 2. So there's a shift of +2. So I think actually the only value that we need to hold is the shift. Is that right? So this can just be int image index shift equals 0. And this is the number of indices each image has shifted by through the latte position list. I think this is right. What are you building, Hope? Xnady asks. Well, I'm trying to get these images to rotate as a new one appears. So if like this MTV image was the oldest, and I only wanted 4 on the screen, when a new one appears, I want MTV to fade away and the new image to appear in its place. Now, of course, MTV is basically fading away on its own because it hasn't been culturally relevant in a very long time, but that's neither here nor there. At least I think it's not culturally relevant. Maybe I'm the one who's out of touch. Maybe it's still culturally relevant. Yeah, okay, so I think it's just a shift. And then once it gets to the end of the line, the shift will like reset to 0. So in did update widget, this is going to be not calculate all. So this will be calculate initial image indices, like shift, I guess. Image index shift, we'll call it. I like that name. Can't type parentheses apparently. Okay. So we set image index shift to 0, even if the list is full, I think. And of course, that is the starting value. So we may not need this function at all. As you can tell, folks, I have not thought about this much. And I'm working through what I think is a complicated problem on my on the fly. I hope I'm not overcomplicating it. I do that a lot. So this new function is going to be called to calculate index or image index shift. So assuming 2 images can't arrive at the same time, which I believe is probably a safe assumption, though they would have to arrive in Firebase with in the same like picosecond or millisecond or something. I don't know. That would mean that the position just grows by 1, but then we probably have to modulo it. Quite sure about that. So we'll say blah, 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 blah. And then if it's this, then it goes back to 0. Wonderful. That looks right. That is exactly what I was going to type. Okay. So now I want to, in that build method, this is where we're going to apply the shift. So the index that we need here is its current 1 plus the shift modulo the length, I think. So this will be index, which is going to be 1 plus the shift, all of this modulo, where's that key? The length. Wonderful. Thank you, Gemini. Index. This is good. So I saved the position and then like didn't use it in a bunch of places. Smart of me. Very, very smart. There we go. And then this becomes index. Now there's the pretty obvious, I'm gonna just note this, to do. This logic assumes that the list can only shift by 1 item at a time if it is possible for a Firestore stream to emit 2 new entries in 1 update, then this will break. And I will talk to Firebase people about that later. See if there is a data contract for how that works. All right. So now, to sort out what is going on here, what I think I want to do is add an indication to this, maybe the age of the art, and then we'll be able to sort out which one is the oldest and watch it change. So I've got a position widget here. Oh, and we're in a stack. That's just so lovely. I'm very happy for myself. Okay. This is going to be, yeah, I want to return 2 widgets from this inner method. So that would, if you were a list of widgets, this would be a list of widgets, which is the problem, right? That's what this says. Yeah, so how do I flatten this? What do I need to do? Expand? Oh. Nice. So now do I just yield? Nope. Okay, what do I do? How does expand work? Iterable, yeah, yield. Oh, yield star, sync star. Oh, because it's a generator. Yeah, I guess. Oh, so I think yield is fine. Yeah, I just need sync star. And I don't think I need, yeah, yield star is like, that's if you yield a whole nother generator, I think. All right, great. So I've yielded the image. So I'll test hot reload here. Nothing should have changed. And it did. Lovely. Value not in range. Oh, nice. So my index calculation is wrong. That's good. So let's print the index. And sort out. And then this will be, let's get all the data here. So first, the original position, which is index and position 1. Then the shift. And this could even say plus the shift. equals the final index that we went with. Okay. What is even going on here? Let's start over and reload. Why are we not getting print statements? Is the error happening somewhere earlier than I thought? Null is not a subtype of int. What are we talking about here? I don't know where null would be. Honest question, why aren't you using an agent? I do a lot. I mean, most of this code was written by an agent. I do want to just kind of think this through. I don't want to lose my ability to, do hard problems. I can do hard stuff. Sometimes not very quickly. Like, for example, the problem of the dropped frames from earlier, I'm going to ask Gemini to do. All right, I'm going to move this one out of the way. Here we go. I don't know why we're not getting any print statements here. Wow, this is just an absolute fire hose of errors. Oh, here we go, here we go, here we go. Okay, recent orders, home view 350. 350. What? How is that? None. What, none? What's here? None is not a subtype of, null is not a subtype of int. Sure. What is null? You can't be null. Your type is never allowed to be null. So that can't be it. Let's see, which one does it not even want to do? Oh, come on, Gemini, you know. You know what I'm doing. There it is. Oh. Okay. Also, I think if I get rid of the timer, this will just happen once. That'll probably be nicer. I don't really care about moving anymore. I just want one bit of code. Okay, this is just going absolutely haywire. Look at this. This is nuts. I don't know if I wonder if I just needed to refresh the page. I may not have needed to actually do a hot restart. Who wants to look at my husky? Look at this cutie. What a cool dog. All right, it's not. There we go, there we go, there we go. Okay, refresh. Now this should not explode in our faces. We should just get one error because we're not running this in a loop anymore. Uncaught in prompt. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh, I'm trying to change a list. Where am I trying to do that? Oh, I'm sorting the list. Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. This sort is in place, but I'm using cascade operator. That should be fine. So this could be a list of recent. So this doesn't want to be sorted. Recent latte image, not from. There we go. Okay, that might help. I think seems like that was part of the problem. Okay, I cleared it. Oh, there we go, there we go. They did render. So now, was that the issue? Was that what was going on? I still was expecting print statements from the one passed through the build method. Okay, so no errors here. I guess that was the problem. So now we turn the timer back on, restart again, and it explodes again. Oh no, that's a different explosion. Okay, they're moving. So we're just getting an insane amount of print statements that we don't care about anymore. Build. La 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 la. It's in this one. Now I get rid of all these print statements. And I get rid of this. And I print again. And yes, now I can actually. All right, so the whole thing was I wanted to be able to say nothing changed. Now we're back to that. So now I can finish my generator problem and yield a new position widget. That's not how you spell position. What? Position, thank you. Okay, so the place I want to put this is just below the image, and it's going to show the time. So this is going to be a humanized. I have some widget for this. So here we are, humanized countdown. Humanized countdown. That's super hardcore. And you can get imported. And then what do you need? You need a timestamp only. There we are. And the timestamp is position. No, it's widget.images index created at. Lovely. But this is not the correct position. The position needs to be, let's do the left same as the other thing. This is just total debugging nonsense. It's going to go away. Okay, there we go. And then top, I'll do the same top value, but I'll add another 50 pixels. No, I'll add 100 pixels. Plus 100. Okay, now this should show the ages of each of these. Oh, wow, they're shifted. That's crazy. What is happening? Why are they all the way over there? Okay, that's actually really funny. Wait, why are they there? Left? Oh, I was centering this. Oh. Oh. Right, these are a bunch of stacks floating around, and then they're centered in their stack. Is that what's happening? Oh, whatever, we can still use this. Okay, so the oldest one. Oh, they go off screen. That's not very helpful. This one's 17. Oh, guys, it's like, can you come back in so I can read this? All right, this is very silly. So I'm just going to add a plus 300 to the left value. And then I'm going to add another plus 300 to this. Can you refresh, please? This is there. That's better. Okay. So the oldest one is the sunflowers image. That is 17 hours old. So, drum roll, please. I'm going to make a new one in the Firebase console, and we'll see how this works. So where is that other one? Okay, so here's this. I need to bring this over. Grabbing a new image from a random past thing. This will be, sure, this one works. Grab this image URL. Now here, I'm going to make a new recent latte image. And I'm doing this off screen so we can see the update live. I don't want to cover any of it. So new auto ID created at is going to be now. Here we go. Yeah. Clicking through. I guess I could do this on screen and then I'll move it before I save it. That'll be better television, won't it? Add a field here, description. New replace the sunflowers, baby. Add a new field. This is going to be the prompt, and that's going to be newest image in the world. And lastly, we need the image URL, which is this. Okay, now I'm going to move this off screen. Click save, and we'll see what happens. Big money, big money, big money. Clicking save, replace the sunflowers. Clicked it. No, it replaced the newest one. I think that was the newest one. Okay. So, cheap fix. I do this. Refresh refresh again. Oh, you know what the other thing is here? I just realized I'm still pulling down more images. Actually what I'll just do is print state. This is like the dumbest thing. Print images first graded out. Oh my god. Gemini is such a good mind reader. I don't know if that means it's smart, I'm dumb, or we're both in the middle, but this is exactly what I wanted to do. This will tell us how sorted the thing is. Let's make a new one. Okay, pulling this up again. So now the newest one is this brick building, and the oldest one is gone. Okay, so I did change the sorting here, and that changed something. Let's think about what this changed. Oh, that made the sunflowers go away. Okay, so you all cannot read it because the text is over the image, but now the MTV image says 13 hours. So that's the new oldest one. I really appreciate you all watching me do my day job. Okay, I'm grabbing a new random image. This one is going to be, the prompt of this was, a fox watches floating islands. That's going to be our new image, as if someone went through the flow. And now I'm making a new document. And I guess I'll bring this over again like I was doing before. Auto ID. Created that. I wish there was a better way to do this. Line. There we go. Add a field. Prompt. Whatever. Description. Whatever. And image URL. The image. Okay, back off screen. Okay. First of all, did I restart so that we get this print? I don't know. Let's do a quick hot reload. Very good. I'm going to put this on half the screen, and then I'm going to pull up the logs right here. Well, it's mad about something. That later. Okay, big money, big money. We want the MTV logo to go away. Clicking save. Okay, that just put focus on the window. Clicking save again. And they shifted for sure. The logic didn't work. The newest one is down here. So they all like shifted. So that didn't work. But we do get to answer one question we had. Wow, look at this error that is happening. Why didn't that print? Why you no print? It's like, no, I have to do this again. I'm going to hot restart here. Why are we not getting a print? Okay, there we are. So this is today. I should print the oldest one as well. I have to like apply UTF timestamps, and I'm not smart enough for this. Oh, yeah. I have to sublist this based on the length that we're supposed to show. So let's make the length that this shows. I'm just going to hard code it for now, but obviously that won't be a good strategy forever. So this will be sublist. Oh no, that wouldn't go after copy. That's absolute madness. Sublist 04. What are you mad about? Oh, because that was stinky. Okay, we're not going to be able to do this in one line, I don't think. Mm-hmm. Final sorted images. Eventually, I'm going to put an actual filter on the query. That is not there now, so here we go. Okay. So now let's restart. Wow, there's so many errors. I got to figure that out. Okay, so the oldest first. So this one should be the newest. And this is wrong. So when I doubted Randall and just mindlessly flipped this ordering, I was setting myself up for pain. And I refresh again, and we now see the newest is 4 minutes ago. That's great. The oldest is like an hour ago. And that is correct. Okay, good. Handled lost context event has not been initialized. Handled context loss event. I can't read. Also, I don't know what that is. But I don't think it's me. Gonna have to talk to the web team about this. See if they know what this is and if I'm doing something wrong. Great. So now this function works for probably the first time in all of this, which means I can now run this test again, and we expect this one to shift right here. So I'm going to grab yet a new image, and this one was called, what is this called? Owl perched on moonlit branch. Love it. So we go here. I make a new recent latte image, a document, created at. I'm really getting bored of this. Prompt, where this that I'm getting bored of is typing these documents into the Firebase console. Promptorino, description, descriptorino, image field, image URL, value. Okay. So we expect this one down here to shift. Actually, that's not what I necessarily expect, but it is the hope. Clicking. Let's go. Yeah. Wow, this is an ungood situation. I'm going to run this in Wasm and just kind of see how its performance is going here. Wait, that's crazy. So I'm going to kill this, and it's going to be recent Wasm. So hot reload is going to be slower, but the whole thing should be faster and better and wonderful. Randall, maybe now you'll listen to your elders. That's great. Now you wish you had created a utility to stuff more Firebase entries like I suggested 2 shows ago. Yeah, one day I'll listen to the old Eldorinos. But today is not that day. All right. So that's good. So now we refresh, and this pulls down the Wasm version, and look how smooth they are. That's so great. Oh, you know what's also going to be nice? The image flickers a little bit while it downloads. That's like unavoidable. But the animation that I'm going to add will hopefully obscure that. Okay, yeah, look at how much nicer it is on the old whatchamacallit. Awesome. All right, grabbing yet another image. And this one is called, what are you called? Where are you? Bluebird Crossing Cloud Bridge. Crazy. Making another document. Auto ID. Created at. New. That's a timestamp. Value. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Add a field, prompt, add a description, add an image URL. All right, so the oldest one here, coming from an hour ago, is the last spider web. So when I click save, we expect the spider web to go away, and hopefully the whole thing doesn't jump and flicker and look silly. Didn't work. So the newest one appeared. It's also funny that it says it's 40 seconds ago, and this one says just now. Wait a minute. Wait, nope, no. I thought I maybe had typed a bug somewhere, but then I realized that I'm using index here, which is shifted. Right. What I think I need to do is evaluate my logic for image shift. I think that this is like not, I think that this is missing something. That is my deep suspicion. Let's refresh. It's going to take a minute because Wasm, it runs fast, but hot reloads slowly. So you generally do your development with JavaScript and then deploy Wasm. Okay, I want to think about how this is going. I do need like a button to just. Is that a jail, the brick building? It's actually supposed to be from King's Crossing in London. And there's, there's buildings in the vicinity of that look like this. So maybe you want a map sorted by created date instead of a list. Then the first entry will always be the oldest. A map sorted. Okay, so yeah, this is, I was thinking about this earlier, and you may absolutely be correct. I'm also really surprised that just now is never updating, but like the other ones are. So what's going on with just now? Why don't you update? Yeah, you're supposed to tick every second. So if duration is negative or duration in seconds is less than 1, how would that even be? Why would you be staying at just now? Is the duration negative? Okay, I'll worry about that later, because I think if I refresh it, it's going to... No, it did stay the same after the last hot reload. Let's do this again. I'm curious about this. Maybe time zone, yeah. But so the odd thing is the other ones correctly say like a couple minutes ago. See, this one says 4 minutes ago. So I do think time zones are being accounted for. I just don't know why the one of them is staying at just now. Like, that's weird. But we're about to see some values spam in our faces, I think. Will you please compile? Oh, it did, and now I have to refresh. So I'm so smart. Okay. Yeah, whoa. Look at this negative duration. Huh? Negative 671 hours? Well, that's not right. 430? Oh. That's the future. Well, there's your problem. I made this description in the future. I mean, this time, how did that happen? Update. Okay. Oh, there we go. Closing that. Where was I before I so rudely interrupted myself? Oh yes, I have this new print statement. We're hot reloaded. Okay, I think I'm ready to add another thing, and then we'll inspect what's going on here. So the oldest one now is Old King's Crossing, the jail with the Glock. So we'll grab a new image. This is going to be a cartoon raven in a stadium. Absolute nonsense. Making a new document, making created at, attempting to not put it 28 days in the future. I believe I have successfully done that. Description. Values doesn't matter. Prompt doesn't matter. Image URL. Okay, so we want the jail to go away. Clicking save. So it worked once. Oh, every now and then, Gemini makes an image with a white border, and that looks really silly when you put a circular clip on it. Okay, this is good. So I'm just going to do another one, and then we want the fox to go away. Now, the image shift was 3. Let's think about this. That feels too high. I was expecting it to be 1. Why is it 3? This probably explains why it didn't work last time, because it's not at all what I was expecting. Okay, this one is a bird presenting at a podium, which I believe was what I made earlier and was unable to submit because of yet other problems. As you can see, this demo is almost done. No, it's not. Created at timestamp today, now, description, timestamp, prompt. Just realizing that if I was really smart, I would have edited the from JSON value for the recent latte image and just allowed it to have nullable descriptions and prompts. But I'm not smart, so I didn't do that. Make a new field, image URL, paste in. All right, so we want the fox to go away. That's 15 minutes old. That's the oldest image. Save. Oh, it worked. And image shift went to 0. Okay, I'm not sure why it was 3 before. Maybe this window was running for longer than I appreciated. But 0 is the value that I would expect after 3. We'll do one more of these. If the night owl goes away, then maybe this just works. How's that for some wishful thinking? Okay, robot performing on stage. This was when my happy place was speaking on stage at a Flutter conference. New document. I went Back to the Future. That's right. Wow, man. Dude, Back to the Future is such a good movie. It's really, really good. Really good. And just what a ripping theme song. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Like, man, if that doesn't get your blood going, not me singing it, of course, but the actual version. Is that John Williams? I think it's John Williams. Okay, so yes, Night Owl will go away and be replaced with Robot on Stage. Big money. Okay, I think this works. This seems vaguely right. Nice. Part 2 came out on your birthday. Well, that must have been a fun birthday. Assuming you went to see it on your birthday, but maybe you didn't. What with it being your birthday. Cool. Well, I've never made something look harder, I don't think, but I believe this logic is correct. So let's comment out all the nonsense that I wrote and then delete all the commented out nonsense. That's good. That's good. Get rid of you. This seems good. This seems good. I love it. Any print statements down here I need to get rid of in the build method? No, this looks really good. Huh. We love it when a plan comes together, folks. Let's look at the Git situations. What branch am I on? No branch. Git, check out. New branch, recent images, Swapperino. Sure. This is unrelated. This is heavily related, but I am going to put a to-do on that for the block. That to-do is going to say this hard-coded value of 4 is bad. There's nothing else that needs to be said about that. So the block can go back into being staged. What do we have here? Oh, that was that. Okay, that's good. That's good. Well, I don't know about good, but it's what we're going with. Oh, we don't need this anymore. This is not exactly particularly elegant looking. Cool. All right. Newest, recent images, replace oldest recent images. What a tongue twister. It's not really a tongue twister, actually. What a riddle. Woo! All right. That's probably going to be it for today. Having the squishable latte image have the manage the replacement in a more visually interesting way is going to be a future task. All right. Lucas says hello from Brazil. Nice stream. Well, thanks so much, Lucas. That's awfully kind of you. I appreciate that. All right, folks. That is going to do it for today. I appreciate everybody who took the time out of your precious lives to hang out and remind me about how to sort things and just otherwise agree that none of the Flutter code that I write is very good. We probably could have done that faster if I asked Gemini to do it, but I ask Gemini to do a lot of things, and sometimes I still like to think through them myself because fast forward into the future, I don't want to have forgotten how to do these tasks and turn my brain on and think. But that's a different philosophical debate. Thank you so much for joining. I had a great time. I hope you too had a great time. And let's see, next week, yes, I think I will be here. I don't know what I'll be doing. Feel free to reach out, by the way, if you got anything you want to talk about, because otherwise I might just be working on this demo again, and that might be boring. So your fate is in your own hands to some extent. Okay. Have a great week, everybody. Happy fluttering.